The Prabhupada Connection. Memories. 130. Powerful Akriya in the Vaisnava world, and what about the qualities he had? All devotional qualities he possesses, and that we can know him that he is great only by preaching. Less than 10 years. There is no history, no recording anywhere. Preaching in 10 years he has established this divine name everywhere, as is told in Mahaprabhu's future prediction. His divine grace BV. Puri Mahara. Memories of Srila Prabhupada. February 15, 1975. Mexico City. Srila Prabhupada's amazing contribution in spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world, beyond the frontiers of English-speaking countries, is without precedent. February 15 was his 5th preaching day in Mexico City, in his 2nd visit to the country, at the Hare Krishna Temple in Mexico City. His divine grace was an elderly gentleman, not long before he had recovered from serious illness in Vrindavana, India. Now he was around the globe in Mexico City, right on the opposite side of India, on the other side of the earth, moving with the energy of a young man. In other words, his divine grace's spiritual energy was bypassing body illness, showing his clear and pure mind in his translations and Bhaktivedanta purports, in his preaching to his disciples and guests, in his writing answers to all kinds of questions from his disciples, friends and well-wishers of his movement by post. All this throughout one day. That day Srila Prabhupada answered 13 letters. Before that he has translating the Srimad Bhagavatam from Sanskrit to English in the early morning, then walking in the nearby chaptered park, then greeting the deities, their lordships Sri Sri Radhamadana Gopal, the presiding deities of the Mexico City Temple. Afterwards his divine grace accepted Guru Puja, and after all that Srila Prabhupada answered correspondence. Then his divine grace held a room conversation, and at the end of the day gave a Bhagavad Gita class to his Latin American disciples and others from many parts of the world. His divine grace was a tireless preacher, all day long engaged in loving devotional service to Hari, Guru and Vaisnavas, all this, because he was an empowered divine personality, as some of his contemporaries wrote. It is clear to me that you are great powerful Akriya in the Vaisnava world at present. 761109, Mupur, Sridhara Maharaja. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So, our Swami Maharaja has done a miracle. Laughingly, he has done a miracle. What Bhaktivinoda conceived and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada tried according to his conception to translate into action, we find that through Swami Maharaja in his last days these revelations have been fulfilled. We are happy, we are glad, we are proud of Swami Maharaja, and of you all too. Room Conversation, March 17, 1973. Mupur, Srila Prabhupada's sannyasa title, and what about the qualities he had? All devotional qualities he possesses, and that we can know him that he is great only by preaching. Less than 10 years. There is no history, no recording anywhere. Preaching in 10 years he has established this divine name everywhere, as is told in Mahaprabhu's future prediction. His divine grace BV. Puri Mahara. Memories of Srila Prabhupada. Sripada Sridhara Maharaja also appreciated my service. He said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prediction, Prathivat Akyata Nagaradi Grama Sarvatra Prakara Haib Moranama, would remain a dream only, but he congratulated me that I have done it practically. Srila Prabhupada Letter, July 7, 1975. We cannot describe properly that transcendental personality, as it said in the Srimad Bhagavatam 3.6.36. Tathapi Kirtanami Ango Yatha Mati Yath Shrudam Kirtan Haresvam Sat Kartam Dram and Iabadha Satim. In spite of my inability, whatever I have been able to hear from the spiritual master and whatever I could assimilate, I am now describing in glorification of the Lord by pure speech, for otherwise my power of speaking would remain unchaste. Srila Prabhupada wrote in the purport. This glorification of the Lord is not a product of research, but the result of hearing submissively from the authority of the spiritual master. It is also not possible to repeat all that one has heard from his spiritual master, but one can narrate as far as possible by one's honest endeavor. We start this day from letters answered by Srila Prabhupada. Next will be his room conversation, ending with Bhagavad Gita class. The following are the answers to the letters sent to Srila Prabhupada, and his divine grace's replies from Mexico City were sent to India and all over USA. He replied to the letters about all kinds of subject matters, to his disciples, to a Swami, to a scientist disciple, to a concerned doctor, to a friend and well-wisher. He addressed all kinds of subjects matters, from initiations, to becoming a pure devotee of Lord Krishna, to worshipping Gauranitai at home, to reading and how much service you should do, investments, to getting married, healthy foodstuffs, prasadam or mercy of the Lord, not to manufacture some artificial process, relationships with friends, relatives and others, filmmaking. 1. To invest Bombay Giri. The interest rate here in the West is very low now, so I am thinking very seriously to invest about $410,000, approximately 32 lakhs rupees. I want to know immediately what kind of monthly interest I would receive if I was to put this amount in a fixed deposit for 5 years. Check with the big banks and find out what the highest interest rate would be. You can check with many of the big banks such as First National Bank, Punjab National, Central, Bank of India, State Bank of India, etc. Please see to this matter immediately without any delay and let me know by return post to New York Temple. 2. To get married. Krishna, he will surely provide everything that you need. Brooklyn Gopipuranadanadas. Regarding your problem of not being able to get married, this is not the proper type of question to place before your spiritual master. I think you should discuss this matter with Rupanuga Das. Anyway, you should be sure to follow all the regulative principles without fail and to chant at least 16 rounds daily. If you do these things, then in any position of life you will be satisfied. Krishna is fully aware of your every necessity and he will surely provide everything that you need for your bodily maintenance. You should have this kind of faith. 3. Healthy foodstuffs. Prasadam or mercy of the Lord, Pasadena, California. Dr. Courier, thank you for your kind suggestions and interest in our movement. In brief, I have always instructed my disciples to eat only healthy foodstuffs which will be beneficial for the body and mind. Not only that, but I have also instructed that whatever they eat must be first offered to the Supreme Lord Krishna for his pleasure and then they can take the remnants which are called prasadam or mercy of the Lord. We are very practical. Whatever is necessary for the maintenance of the body and mind, we will accept. For relationships with friends, relatives and others, I have never said that my disciples should sever all relationships with friends, relatives and others, but sometimes an inexperienced devotee may do it out of fear of being too much attracted to the materialistic way of life by associating with such persons. An experienced devotee is strong enough not to be affected, rather he can help others to become purified by his association. For more information, I suggest you visit one of our centers there in California. Thank you again for your concern. 5. Initiation. Detroit Govardhana Dasa. I have accepted the following for first initiation. Their beads may be chanted on by Satsvarupa Maharaja. Be sure and help them become first-class devotees by following all the rules and regulations very carefully. Especially, they must rise early for Mangala Arati, chant at least 16 rounds and attend class. Your list of qualifications for choosing candidates for second initiation is very good. Worship Gauranitai at home. Regarding Rudra Dasa, he can worship Gauranitai in his home. The most important element for their worship is the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. They can have at least one arati and whatever foodstuffs are prepared can be offered. Regarding and how much you should do, that has to be decided by each individual. Regarding my books, everyone should read. I am also reading. Everyone should be engaged 24 hours. That is the sum and substance. How much you should read and how much you should do other types of service, that has to be decided by each individual devotee. Eating and sleeping should be minimized, not a single moment should be misused. 6. Become a pure devotee of Lord Krishna. Be very careful to follow all. Dallas Krishna Dasi, you are very fortunate to be attending the Gurukula school. You please take advantage of it and become a pure devotee of Lord Krishna. I would like to come there very much and see all of my sons and daughters there. I will be coming sometime soon, maybe next time I come back to USA after the Mupur and Vrindavana festivals. Be very careful to follow all of the regulative principles nicely and chant 16 rounds and study my books very deeply. This will make you able to go back to Godhead at the end of your life. 7. Don't try to manufacture some artificial process. Laguna Beach Mridapriya Dasi. It is never too late to become Krishna conscious. If you actually follow all of the regulative principles and chant 16 rounds avoiding the offenses and attend the Mangala Arati and classes, then Krishna will see that you are sincerely trying to follow the real process of Krishna consciousness. Don't try to manufacture some artificial process. The process I have already given. Now you simply have to follow it strictly and Krishna will give you all help. 8. Train them to be first-class New Orleans Nityananda Des. I am very glad to hear that your farm project in Mississippi is going on nicely. Develop it nicely like New Vernavana. I have accepted the 2 persons that you have recommended for first initiation. Their beads can be chanted by Kirtanananda Swami. Train them to be first-class devotees by following very strictly all of our rule regulations, chanting at least 16 good rounds daily. 9. By this simple method, whatever problems you may have will seem insignificant. Denver Pankananda Des. The problem that you are experiencing may have something to do with the drugs you were taking previous to joining our movement. Anyway, you should try very sincerely to become a pure devotee of Krishna by following all of the 4 regulative principles and chanting at least 16 rounds daily, as well as rising early, attending Mangala Arati, attending classes, etc. By this simple method, you will be very strongly fixed in spiritual life and whatever problems you may have will seem insignificant. However, if you need medical attention, your temple president should make the necessary arrangement for your seeing a doctor. 10 book reviews lecturing in the college classes. Dallas Satsvarupa Maharaja. Thank you very much for sending the book reviews. Send more if you can. These are very encouraging. I am keeping a collection of these reviews and I show them to big scholars and professors when they come to see me. They are very impressed. Regarding your lecturing in the college classes, this is a very good program also. Why not continue it? 11. Whether one is male or female. San Francisco Jennifer. We are Vaisnavas. We are not concerned with male or female position in life. That is simply bodily concept of life. It is not spiritual. Whether one is male or female, it doesn't matter. Simply chant Hare Krishna and follow the 4 regulative principles and your life will be perfect. Regarding initiation, it is required that you be recommended by one of our temple presidents to me and then I shall consider it. First of all, one must have followed the regulative principle for at least 6 months without deviation. It is not necessarily required to live in the temple, but you must observe the rules. 12. Feeling very happy in Krishna's service. Atlanta Svarupa Damodara Dasa. I was very glad to receive your letter and to hear that you are feeling very happy in Krishna's service. I will be coming to Atlanta around the first week of March. Rupanuga Prabhu has informed me that he will call a meeting of all the scientists in the movement at that time in Atlanta. So I will be seeing all of you there. 13. Filmmaking. Please try to keep yourself fixed in Krishna consciousness by chanting San Pedro, California Yadavakarya Das. I think in connection with filmmaking, you should contact Yadubara Dasadhikari in Los Angeles Temple. He can help you and give you advice as to how is the best way to work in this way. He is experienced in this field. I understand from your letter that you are now in prison. Anyway, you can use such a situation as an opportunity for preaching Krishna consciousness. I am very glad to hear that you have already distributed some books in prison. Please try to keep yourself fixed in Krishna consciousness by chanting 16 rounds daily and following the 4 regulative principles strictly and reading my books very carefully. These things will keep you nicely in Krishna consciousness so that wherever you are you will remain strongly fixed in the service of the Lord. Thus ends the first part. Powerful Akriya in the Vaisnava world. February 15, 1975, Mexico City. I am very glad to see you again. Srila Prabhupada. Second visit to the Hare Krishna temple in Mexico City. R.G. Tridandi Swami Bhakti Prapanna Parvata Maharaja. Rama Govinda Das from Guadalajara, Mathasi. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. San Andres Cholula, Puebla, Mexico.